Hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for September 24th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 268. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about stealing waters, steep in fines, SAG-AFTRA impacts League of Legends, a port strike cometh, priced out for $4,000 a month, Stealthy profits at cost, hundreds of Nazca line geoglyphs, owner and manager of Dali sued by Maryland, no chill, no recliner, no longer bullscaped, and saving Earth from an asteroid, and a little bit of snark. Everything's on the other side of this. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Wow. Welcome. I need to fix something. There's always something. Let's get into it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Trumble. You know, I can make my fists really small or really, really big.
Perspective.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Let's keep going. First article. First article is over in the Marvel Channel. Californians who steal water from rivers will soon be subject to much steeper fines. I thought this was too much to not riff off of. Get it? Because if you steal water, you're going to steep in fines. You're going to have steep fines.
That's right. You could be making a lot of tea.
So, hey, don't make tea out of this. So, Newsom on Sunday granted his approval of AB 460, which will raise potential fines for those who steal water from rivers up to $10,000 daily. What are you going to do? Put the water back?
Yes, I mean, is that what people are going to do here in light of this?
I took 5 gallons of water and wait, okay, give me 24 hours. I'll put it back. I'll put some of it back. I'll put it to you that way. Anyway, I don't know. Water should be a right, you know? But apparently...
Yeah, but somebody shouldn't be diverting the river to their crops or...
Well, there's a different animal there. That's not really what I'm saying, but okay. That's 20 times more than violators had to pay 2 years ago when the state officials charged $4,000, about $50 per person, when a group of Siskiyou County ranchers diverted water from Shasta River, according to Cal
I did
Matters.
not look ahead at the article.
That's pretty good. You are from the future. I don't know how you can stop yourself from seeing the future.
Well, we've had other articles that talk about some of the high water usage by a select few people, so I suspected this might be along the same lines.
So the article is over at The Hill by Sharon Udison. I think I'm pronouncing it properly. And there really, I mean, there's more to it. They talk about, not really more to it. There's more at the article. But did I not do it again? No, I did it. Hold on a second. Let me...
No, I'm sure you did it.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Did I not throw it in there? I didn't do it. Hey, vamp. Stat.
Okay, so, I mean, at some point, they're going to have to come up with low water crops or figure something out I don't know, like not growing crops in the desert.
Well, therein lies the rub, right? If you are sitting there growing crops in the desert, of course you're going to have water problems, but I guess we can't see past the profits, right?
That's right. And of course, everybody wants their produce year round.
Yeah, but I don't know. There has to be something other than growing stuff in a place where most of the water is freaking disappearing as vapor before it even gets to the ground. I must be the only one that thinks like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody correct me in chat. Tell me how wrong I am.
What are we
and point
missing?
me to a citation. I'm sorry?
I said, what are we missing?
What are we missing? Now, if you type in
Water.
exclamation point NSM, well, yeah. The solvent. So under AB 460, individuals who violate a permit or a water diversion reporting requirement for groundwater recharge will be charged a civil penalty of up to $1,000 a day for each day the violation occurs. Beginning in 2026, double the current $500. Infractions will be subject to a much higher fine when they violate a curtailment order, an order issued by the State Water Resources Control Board to prohibit water use when there is insufficient supply in a given watershed. In such a scenario, water burglars, I guess, exist. How dystopian. Will need to pay up to $10,000 per day, plus $2,500 for every acre foot of water diverted. How do you divert river? I mean, you have to sit there with a backhoe and spend forever doing that?
Yeah, but if you're getting free water for a year or something, somebody's probably decided that's feasible before this.
Oh boy. It's almost like Idiocracy is a documentary.
Oh, it's not?
Apparently it is. Just like Demolition Man was a documentary. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Warcraft. SAG-AFTRA strike will now impact League of Legends, and here's why. The SAG-AFTRA strike says that it's adding Riot Games' League of Legends as a struck game, meaning union voice actors currently working on the game must stop. SAG-AFTRA is also filing an unfair labor practice charge against sound company Formosa Interactive over what it alleged is an attempt to circumvent the ongoing strike. The article is by Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon.com, and the deck statement says SAG-AFTRA members must immediately cease providing services or covered services to League of Legends. So categorize them as uncovered services.
Interesting.
Nobody will know. Just kidding. More than 2,500 video game performers went on strike in late July after nearly 2 years of negotiation with major video game companies. The big sticking point in the negotiations is related to artificial intelligence protections, but the League of Legends strike is unrelated to AI. Instead, SAG-AFTRA alleged in a news release that Formosa Interactive tried to cancel one of its struck video games shortly after the SAG-AFTRA video game strike, and then attempted to transfer the game to a shell company so that it could hire non-union actors.
Okay, that's pretty questionable. If that's correct.
Yeah, if it is what it is, then obviously they were cognizant of it and trying to circumvent the union strike. But hey, what's a business supposed to do, right? I mean, they've got to look out for all of these other people along with those particular voice actors, and let's abuse everybody. Yeah, they knew that they were moving the game offshore so that they could hire non-union actors and avoid having to pay people the right amount. But I was told in not so many terms just the other day that, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll find somebody that we can get in this position, under what industry would pay them. So we'll find somebody. All right. Yeah, there's nothing predatory about this. So Riot Games isn't necessarily involved in the dispute, save its reliance on Formosa Interactive for voiceovers. Instead, League of Legends was chosen to be struck as one of Formosa Interactive's biggest clients and one that is likely still hiring voice actors. As with the rest of the industry, the strike won't immediately impact League of Legends. Production on games happens well in advance of release, but League of Legends is a game that gets regular updates with new character voice lines and cinematics, and the strike could impact cinematics or voiced skins in the future. Not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know. And I wonder if this is going to be a sign of things to come. Is this unique to League of Legends?
Well, I guess the real disgruntlement is against Formosa, not League of Legends, but because it's the big client.
The League of Legends is caught up in it.
Yep. I'd say it's unique in that way. if they identify anybody else, and really, whoever they're doing, all of the voice actors know exactly who they're working for, arguably.
Yeah, this should be pretty easy to figure this out, right?
Yeah, who else is another big player that's funding Formosa, right? That's the name of it again?
Right.
Yeah, Formosa Interactive. I don't know how well positioned they will be if all of the voice actors keep regularly saying, you know, well, here's the next one that's paying their bills. Here's the next one that's paying their bills. Yeah, maybe Formosa and anybody in this. People need to get paid what they deserve to get paid, not sitting there abusing it.
But the companies should go in with that expectation, not be, let's try to get everything we can out of them.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A port strike is looming over the U.S., Georgia chief says. This makes it sound like a name, Georgia chief.
And we're like a sports team or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And no, I know it's not the Georgia Chiefs.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Or the Atlanta Chiefs. It's not that either.
It's Georgia something or other. Oh, wait, it's the racquetball team, the Georgia Chiefs.
Oh, there we go. No, it must be pickleball.
Pickleball.
Or
picketball.
Maybe I have the strike on the brain. I said picketball.
So we're hopeful that it'll get worked out. Kent Fountain. You know you can't park your car there, Kent. The Georgia Ports Authority board chairman said,
popcorn.
I hate popcorn. Get away from me. Get away from me. Like that. What was the other idiot line that guy says? Your laborers, go labor. What a tool. All right. Well, anyway, the article's over in newsweek.com. Matthew Impelli put the article together. And yeah, so there's a strike would bring operations to a halt at 36 ports responsible for handling nearly half of the nation's shipborne cargo. Lynch oversees two of the busiest ports in Georgia, the Port of Savannah, the fourth largest port in the U.S. for container cargo, handling everything from consumer electronics to frozen poultry, usually in the exact same packaging.
Right.
And the Port of Brunswick.
Why does my TV smell like chicken?
Yeah, and why does my TV have the strange urge to swim upstream? It's so weird. I don't understand it. And the Port of Brunswick, the country's second busiest hub for automobile shipments. Well, they're not going to be. They're going to be in park, I guess. So Lynch noted that it hopes that it can avoid. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said, I guess so.
Grinding gears, that kind of thing. So the stark reality is that they're not talking right now. While Georgia Port Authority is represented by the U.S. Maritime Alliance, it does not have a direct role in the contract negotiations. When it comes to the potential duration of the strike, no one really knows for sure. Whoever flinches, I suppose. Who has led Georgia Port since 2016 and has more than 30 years experience in the maritime industry. Quote, I think it would be, we should expect 4 to 5 days and hopefully not longer than that.
4 to 5 days sounds like almost nothing, but for global trade, it's kind of a big deal. And plus, what's to prevent it from going 3 weeks?
Yeah. All kinds of businesses are going to be contacting these ports going, where the hell are my shipments? Let's see. At the last board meeting on Tuesday, Lynch commended the approximately 2,000 union workers who manage unloading and loading of Savannah and Brunswick, saying, I don't want to process anything, sell anything, or buy anything. No, they said, quote, they have done great work, end quote. Oh, very profound statement. In the lead up to a potential strike. He added that the ports will continue operating right up until the deadline. It sounds so Dune-like.
Yeah.
You know, the spice mining vehicle, when they fly the ornithopter over it, he says they'll work right up until the last minute, and then the worm comes and eats the miner. Well, I mean, it's a spice mining vehicle, but they save all of the people in it, but none of the spice. The worm comes and gets the spice, and the spice must flow because those He who controls the spice controls the universe. I might be misquoting that.
I'm not sure if you are. It's probably consistent with it, even if it's not the same
exact thing.
Language.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have
You'll
to watch
have to
it
do
again.
it live.
I'm going to have to watch it again. I'm going to do my Dune throat singing. Go home, Mary. You're drunk. So the next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Priced out. Why not sleep in an old Goldman Sachs office for $4,000 a month? 4 years after the pandemic. The before times. I remember them well. You're just a tourist. I was born there. I'm sorry. Here, let me get back into this. So 4 years after the COVID-19 pandemic. You know what? I know somebody that came back from Italy, like right before, and they had a cold. And I'm like, you stay the hell away from me. Don't.
Like right before the pandemic officially hit the United States?
Correct. I was like, no.
I'm sure they had it.
No. You stay away. And then I went down the hallway and I said to somebody, there's somebody sick here. And I said, I'm leaving. And they basically were like, oh, you're overreacting. It's just going to be a cold. And I'm like, no. And you're going to eat those words. They actually spoke to me randomly later on that year, 2020, actually, when everything's shut down. And they're like, well, I guess we know who the asshole is now, because people were dropping like flies. And I'm like, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so. So now $4,000 a month, the latest instance of the New York City Financial District's transformation into a residential neighborhood. Madeline Fitzgerald put this article together for Quartz at QZ.com. Wow.
This is
still ridiculous. Did you just say that?
Yeah, I did.
We're spending too much time together. I'm going to have to disconnect your ports. So the former headquarters of Goldman Sachs at 55 Broad Street, which is really quite narrow. No, I'm sorry. Just trying to be funny, but that's not right. Anyway, is being converted into luxury apartments complete with custom Italian kitchens, 10-foot ceilings, waterfront views. Okay, I just want to draw some attention. If the building is not configured to handle all of the additional weight of residential customization, i.e. marble all over the place, heavy hardwood, blah, 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 all kinds of fittings, we're going to have a serious structural problem in New York.
Yeah, it sounds like the condominium issue in Florida. I forgot the name of the place.
Yeah, the towers, right? Yeah. So they say meticulously crafted studio to 3-bedroom residences represent the best of downtown living. Discover a life unmatched elegance and convenience with over 25,000 square feet of amenities, including a resort-style sun deck with an outdoor pool overlooking the harbor and skyline. That suspended pool.
Yeah, the sun deck is really
part of the
on
problem.
To the concerns you were just mentioning.
Yep, all that dead weight right there. Oh, God. So after the pandemic, a Whole Foods opened in the basement of One Wall Street, while Maclo Properties converted the upper floors into a 566-unit condominium. 55 Broad Street is expected to be an even larger development. If all goes according to plan, there will be 571 apartments. That's right, folks. You too can pay for an apartment that will pay off the building and provide endless profits for every generation of their children, but you won't own
Remember,
anything.
You're just paying rent, yeah.
You can't even write that stuff off. But they can write off their profits and the losses associated with running it as a business. Oh, this is going to hurt. Anyway, 4,000 time. Let's just say that each one is only $4,000 a month. And that's not what it's probably going to be, because if you have a 3-bedroom, right? Was this like a
Right.
1-bedroom? Is that what they were saying, right? For 4,000?
I don't know. It
Goldman
was
Sachs
talking about the
office.
ceilings and everything, but I don't know if it spoke about the number of rooms.
Oh, well, let's find out. A studio apartment will go for $4,000 a month, while 3-bedroom units are expected to cost $10,000 a month.
Wow.
It will cost 1/3 of the average house in the United States per year.
Right, but with no ownership.
With no ownership.
And a small footprint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, but in New York, is that going to be spacious?
Yeah, right. It's all postage stamp. That would be funny. I mean, it would be sad, but funny. The building's developers are considering making 25% of the units affordable housing to take advantage of proposed tax abatements as well. So I'm sure they'll put them all down in the basement, far away from all of the people keep the poor. Oh, it's like Only Murders in the Building. The
East side and the west, or the Westies, right?
The Westies are the poor. They're in rent control. Don't want to get Anyway, let's keep moving. Next article's over in 4-Wheel Tech, and it's kind of got a lot of wheels. A snowmobiler, which we've talked about in the past a couple of times, who crashed into a parked Black Hawk helicopter at night, has been awarded $3.3 million, but at a cost. So a federal judge ruled on Tuesday.
I'm not sure it's worth it even for that payout.
Yeah, he got jacked up, but I don't remember exactly what actually happened to him. It's been a while, so they ruled on Tuesday that the government is primarily responsible for no shit. How can you not be? A helicopter just parked on a
right, like
snowbank.
in an open field or something.
Yeah, partially responsible for or primarily responsible for a snowmobiler crashing into a U.S. Black Hawk helicopter. That was just parked on a trail.
But it wasn't funny.
Parked on a trail at night in March 2019. This is like the fastest government resolution of a trial, for crying out loud.
Maybe they were like, oh, this one's not.
Meanwhile, wow, primarily responsible. Yet the judge criticized the 48-year-old for speeding and wearing tinted goggles. He was awarded $3.3 million. Hey, I'm going to smack you on the wrist for speeding and wearing tinted goggles. But hey, so he had broken a dozen ribs, punctured a lung, and suffered severe internal bleeding. So that is the price of crashing into a Black Hawk helicopter that's parked. Well, I mean, it's like Kent parking on campus, right? You're not allowed to park a Black Hawk helicopter on a snowmobile trail. But it was a snowmobile trail. How slow do you have to be when nobody should be on the trail except snowboarders? Snowmobilers, not boarders. Snowmobilers. Anyway, Ryan Eric King is the one that put the article together for jalopnik.com.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd parked it somewhere else and the snowmobiler was like off the trail or something, I think this would have been a lot different.
Look, I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter where the helicopter was parked. It should have lit it. They should have lit it up.
Well, or had a fence or something around it.
Notify people around it that there is a multi-million-dollar government vehicle parked here.
Yeah, this could have been like a car running into it or something.
Yeah, set up flares. It could have been another helicopter trying to land in that spot, for crying out loud. I mean, there's only one helicopter spot on that whole trail, and it had to pick it right there. So Jeff Smith, a Massachusetts lawyer, set out on his snowmobile to meet his brother. He was at his parents' home to fix his mother's computer, staying for dinner and having 2 beers. So, drunk snowmobiling with tinted glasses and speeding?
I'm kind of surprised at the result here.
I think this judge didn't see all of it. Tinted like the snowmobiler's glasses, I say. Anyway, during his ride, Smith crested a ridge and noticed his headlights reflecting off something. By the time he realized it was a freaking helicopter, he had crashed into it. Oh, look, it is a helicopter.
And it looks like a helicopter smash.
Why park on the trail for a night training mission? So the court finds the government breached its duty of care in failing to take any steps to protect the obvious risk of a camouflaged helicopter parked in an active snowmobile trail in a somewhat wooded area as darkness set. The helicopter and area where it parked were not illuminated or marked in any way. So I guess I could have been the judge.
There you go.
Yeah. Severe and life-altering injuries. I'd say so. 12 broken ribs. I think you only have a dozen, for crying out loud.
I know. I'm like, were there
like,
any
don't you have
that weren't injured?
I have actually forgotten how many ribs you have. I think we have 14. $38, $24. So I'm way off. There's a whole bunch of little ones. Those baby back. I want my baby back. He wants his baby back ribs too. They gave him a whole bunch of little baby back ribs.
Oh no.
Dozens of baby back ribs because it was broken a bunch of times. Anyway, before the decision, he intended to use part of the damages for surgery to attach an electronically controlled brace to his left arm. Oh my God. He lives with his parents now, gets by on federal disability. Jeez. All of that.
Yeah, I don't think any of this was to his benefit.
Yeah, $3.3 million. Yeah, sounds like a drop in the bucket. The government now has 60 days to pay Smith or appeal the decision. It would be the crappiest thing. I'm surprised that was only 3.3 million, based on now living with his parents, getting by on federal disability assistance, punctured lung, severe internal bleeding.
Exactly.
That there should have been a
Probably
zero.
the fact that he was drinking and wearing tinted glasses are what tipped that a little lower. But I agree, the impact was significant.
That decimal point needs to be one more spot over to the right there, right there. And for those in the podcast, I'm moving it so it says $33 million, not $3.3 million. Every single one of those people involved should have been forbidden from frying a Black Hawk helicopter.
That too.
Never mind. Yeah,
they shouldn't fry a Black Hawk.
No, they should not. All right, the next article is over in the Mobile Channel. AI survey reveals hundreds of Nazca-lined geoglyphs. I love these. I absolutely love these. If it wasn't for the fact that I feel like I'd be damaging them to go and see them, I want to touch. I want to put my finger on one and go, I've touched a Nazca line. Like right. Doot. So the recent survey doubles the count of known geoglyphs, bringing the total count to over 700 while showcasing how AI can be used in cultural heritage contexts. This is an old one, I think. I think this has been seen for a while. A geoglyph of a bird seen from the air. There are these massive geoglyphs, and if you don't know what a geoglyph is, it's basically like a line drawing or a piece of a design that is massive in scale and typically not visible on the ground, but clearly visible if you fly over it or you find a high perch, which is not really present there to easily see it. And they're oddly perfectly straight lines or matched up patterns so that you can see that it was intended to be something and there was great care taken in making the design. So I just love these things. It took a century for researchers to discover 430 geoglyphs, some massive, spread across the ground in the Nazca region of Peru. Now a team of scientists have nearly doubled the count of known geoglyphs in just 6 months, using an AI-driven approach to reveal some of the harder-to-spot figures. They have a bunch of them listed here. The recent model focuses on relief-type geoglyphs that are small and difficult to identify, since the distribution of the large line-type figurative geoglyphs is known from previous manual aerial studies, as the team wrote in the resulting paper, published earlier this week in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which has the unfortunate acronym of PENIS.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But they probably don't pronounce it like that.
PENAS. I'll just leave that there. I'm just gonna let that dangle there. I'm just gonna let it hang. I'm just gonna let that out. Just lay it on the table like that. Everybody just embrace it in all its glory. Look at those geoglyphs. That's what I'm talking about. Right there, right there. See all of those?
Yeah, those are really cool. Look at that one. What is that in the top right? I like that one.
That one right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that that one's pretty cool. It's very Halloween-y kind of thing. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's like a little like Pokemon. Monsters Inc. kind of character or something. I mean, not that, but just... It could be in something like that.
It's like a critter sitting on a nightstand, or a critter with legs, and it's like dancing. Do, 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 do. This one too. This one right here, it's like a person with a crown, and it's dancing, and it's all hoo hoo.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Coco Pelli type figure. I know it's not, but kind of similar.
Close. There's a bird, little pecker right there. This looks like a dog in a helmet.
Yeah, that one's, I think, maybe the most interesting.
One of those ones that the hats that come down and have the little flaps right here. These people are playing pickleball.
One looks like an alligator or something.
That one right there with a shovel. Looks like a shark with a shovel. Ancient shark with
like a
sand
paddle,
shark.
like it's swimming with it.
Like Saturday Night Live's sand shark. Sand shark. Excuse me? So it proffered 1,309 potential glyphs, and over the next 2 months worth of labor, the team identified 303 figurative geoglyphs and 42 newly identified geometric glyphs. The team also identified diverging patterns in what the larger and smaller glyphs depicted. The monumental glyphs generally depicted animals and plants, while the relief-type geoglyphs depicted humans, decapitated heads, and domesticated camelids. The smaller glyphs are located on average roughly 141 feet from ancient trails that crisscross the Nazca Pampa region, which were likely used to view the glyphs. Of the newly discovered smaller geoglyphs, 47 depicted wildlife figures such as birds, cats, snakes, monkeys, foxes, killer whales, as opposed to the life-giving whales?
Benevolent whales.
And fish. So large geospatial data technologies and data mining have hastened the pace of discovery in aerial archaeology. The team wrote in its paper, quote, "Thus, AI may be at the brink of ushering in a revolution in archaeological discoveries like the revolution aerial imaging has had on the field." I love that. Awesome. I
didn't even know that was a field.
You'd think that high-resolution satellite photography would have seen all of this, and then, well, maybe that's what they used. I don't think they said. They just said.
But did it ever make it to the right people to analyze?
Aliens would stop it. Let's keep going. Aliens. This one will be quick. Maryland sues owner and manager of the Dali that caused the Key Bridge collapse. The state of Maryland has added to the legal troubles facing the owner and operator of the container ship Dali, which caused the deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge after a massive vessel experienced an ill-timed electrical blackout, even though, well, they knew it had problems, but apparently they knew it had problems. Leah Skeen and Brian White over at They're both from Associated Press, but it's published at abcnews.go.com. Again, you can follow all of these links over in the show notes on YouTube. The VOD on Twitch has them in the chat. That will go away eventually, so go over to YouTube. Hopefully I'll get it done.
That's right, because Twitch doesn't keep anything long enough.
Nope. So they say, hear me loud and clear. What happened in the early morning of March 26 should never have happened. A bridge that was used by thousands of vehicles every day should still be here right now. A key artery to the port of Baltimore, which helped move billions of dollars of freight every single year, should still be here right now. And the 6 victims of the collapse should all be here right now. On stage? I mean, wouldn't they be working if nothing had happened to them? That's kind of... Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, are they calling them out?
What? My goodness. So yeah, construction workers were killed when the ship rammed into one of the bridge supports, causing it to basically break, and everything fell into the drink, and they were apparently trapped in their vehicle or caught under the water, which, again, it should never have happened. And apparently they had mechanical and electrical problems before it even left the port, and I suspect to stay on time, they bounced.
Right, it's all about money, right?
So instead of doing it right, they tried to get out of Dodge. So I don't know. The Dali was leaving Baltimore for Sri Lanka when its steering failed because of a loss of power. 6 men on a road crew were filling potholes during an overnight shift. They fell to their death. Grace Ocean and Synergy filed a court petition days after the collapse, seeking to limit the liability in what could become the most expensive marine casualty case in history. Since then, a number of entities have filed opposing claims, including Baltimore's mayor and city council, survivors of the collapse, local businesses, insurance companies. They've all been consolidated into one liability case, and the deadline for claims to be filed is Tuesday, which I think is... I hate that.
Yeah. Too bad if you develop some problem,
because of it, yeah.
12 months from now.
I mean, or even businesses where the operational costs have skyrocketed.
They don't even know what they are. Yeah.
I guess you just got to make up a number and join them. And who knows if you'd even be allowed to join, right? Because they'll evaluate you, and maybe you have a case. Maybe you,
but maybe they're like, no, you haven't shown you have this.
Yep. So we will not allow Marylanders to be left with the bill for the gross negligence, mismanagement, and incompetence that caused this harm. I agree. Based on the evidence that has been posted publicly about what's going on, it should never have left the dock. And if it's found out later that they were certified ready for sea, whoever it was that signed that document is in some serious trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's keep moving though. Time waits for no one.
Well, but that was the problem leading to the Dali issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think that I'm going to crash into a bridge.
Try not to.
The front of my boat is kind of... All right, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is that Cathay Pacific? Is that?
Or maybe just Cathay.
Cathay Pacific banned 2 customers after they got into a row over a reclining seat. Sorry for the delivery of that title. I just suck. So anyway, it's over in Non Sequitur News. Cathay Pacific banned 2 passengers after a dispute over a reclining seat on a flight, reports say. The couple began heckling a woman in front who declined to straighten her seat at their request. The airline emphasized its zero tolerance policy for disrespectful behavior among passengers, so a pair of Cathay customers are no longer welcome on the airline after a row kicked off with another passenger over a reclining seat. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I mean, you could be a nice person and sit your seat up, or you could be the type of person that is mildly inconvenienced by a reclining seat. And on top of it, you could altogether be the type of customers that complain publicly, draw attention to the fact that maybe the reclining chair was laying in your lap, and that passengers on a plane deserve a little bit more respect than being stacked.
I don't even know why they allow the reclining seat at all. Like, why do they make the seats able to recline unless they're going to build more space into the plane?
You know what? I was trying to make a point. And they have reclining seats so that there's a modicum of convenience and comfort. But no.
There is no comfort on an airplane.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to. I want comfort to some degree. It's horrible. Unless you're in first class. And then you're usually maybe surrounded by people who are main character mental and think that, yeah.
Yeah, it might be worse in first class, although you might have more room.
So what I think that this is like a recline to the point where you're like a sardine, you know? Their head is sitting in your lap, and maybe you don't want that. And if you don't have a laptop that you can lay at the right angle, you can't do any work either. I don't know. I think that it's almost an objective to torture people on a plane, because they're going to start stacking stuff. They're going to start putting seats where your head is right here where somebody else's seat is.
That is not going to work.
I've seen pictures, but I don't know if they're AI or not, because I can't believe anything that I hear or see anymore. Mia Jankowicz over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together, and that's what it is. Cathay Pacific. I've never even been on that plane, so. A couple began heckling a woman, so they got punted. They're no longer invited back. You are invited not to return. The passenger, a Chinese woman, spoke about her experience in a social media post that has gathered almost 200,000 likes as of Monday. The lady sitting behind me asked me to put my seat up because it was blocking her husband's view of the TV. Oh my God. I politely declined, and she started stretching her feet onto my armrest, kicking my arm and cursing at me like crazy. The moment you kick my arm and put your feet up on my armrest is the day you're going to lose your legs.
Yeah, I mean, that's like getting into assault.
She started throwing around some nasty comments, calling me a mainland girl and other derogatory stuff. So then when the woman behind me noticed that her Cantonese, the main language spoken in Hong Kong, was not strong, she started throwing around some nasty comments. Oh yeah, so, you know.
So there might be some racism or something going on here too.
Cultural relativism. So the male passenger behind her frantically pushed at her seat, she said, according to the BBC. In apparent footage from the plane, which was posted to social media, the woman's seat can be seen shaking. Later, the female passenger behind her is seen raising her middle finger at her and teasing her for being from mainland China. Wow, that's really going to ingratiate you. And if your face can be seen, you're screwed.
I'm sure somebody's got it on cell phone video or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking the side of the person in the seat, not the couple, of course.
So Cathay Pacific, yeah, and that's how it ended up, right? So the people on the plane, or the flight attendants, reported those two abusers, and now they're no longer allowed on a flight. So
good.
Maybe, you know, put them on a no-fly list for a little bit and see if it'll calm their shit.
I think if airlines did a little bit more of this, it would really help, because I think people are getting away with all kinds of really awful behavior, and it's impacting everybody who's stuck right next to them.
Look, it's okay to recline your seat right up until they say, please sit your seat back up, you know?
True, but if it's flat into the other person's area, which it doesn't say this was, like, it's they don't have any space at that point.
Right. And therein lies the rub, but that's not a problem with the person in front of you unless that person, I mean, I get it that the person is sitting there being, sociopathic, like I say. If they don't care about anybody else, this is what they do. If it's laying so far back that you're bumping your nose when you're trying to drink your coffee.
Yeah, but if it's back like an inch or something, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to really know. We don't know unless we watch the video. Maybe I'll do that and then I'll comment about it later when I watch the video. But at any rate, let's keep going before we spend all month on this one. So the next article is a lot of BS. The last of 8 escaped bulls. It's bullscaped. From a Massachusetts rodeo is caught on a highway. A lone bull on the lam. That's the song that I used to sing.
Sounds like a
country song.
Western, yeah.
What's who was it? Shabuzi. Shabuzi sang this song, I think. The last of 8 escaped bulls from a Massachusetts rodeo.
It might be a new song.
Is caught on a highway. A lone bull on the lam. That was one of 8 that escaped. I'll stop. From a rodeo in Massachusetts mall. Oh, it's just too easy. It's almost poetic. A lone bull on the lam. That was one of 8 that escaped. From a rodeo in Massachusetts. I could actually continue. From a rodeo in Massachusetts mall parking lot. Has been caught. That's the story of my life. I try to get away, but they reeled me back in. It's the I was going to say John Wick of rodeo bulls. Anyway, it's from the Associated Press and published over at abcnews.go.com. The lone bull on the lam was one of 8 that escaped from a rodeo in a Massachusetts mall parking lot. Has been caught. The bulls knocked down fencing, bumped against a tent. Oh my God. They bumped against a tent and rumbled toward the highway. Clutch my pearls. Anyway, a missing pet tracking business was called in to help find the last bull. What? Oh, they went out with a drone and called police when they saw the bull. And then police...
We don't want to go get it.
Rodeo personnel in Massachusetts State Police Air Wing worked with local police and fire departments. It trotted near several businesses and through the woods and over the house. Oh wait. How does that song go? Over the hill and through the woods.
Right.
The grandmother's house we go or something like that. Anyway. There's a bunch of bull. I'm moving on. I
always think these are like, what's happening if you're driving by or something?
Try that
like,
in a small town.
Why are the animals out? Yeah.
Hey, look, a bull. What? Crash into a tree. Tesla truck on fire. So for decades, scientists have finally worked out how to save Earth from a huge asteroid. Now, when I saw this, there was another article that I was going to select, but I saw this. I don't know. The science is beyond me, so let's find out. For decades, everyone from sci-fi writers to defense specialists and Hollywood directors have hypothesized how best to save the world should it come face to face with an asteroid. Now they might actually have an answer. According to a proof of concept study published by scientists on Monday, blasting any asteroid out of the sky with a gigantic X-ray beam may be our best bet at saving the human race. A cosmic toot, as it were.
A sci-fi movie premise coming up.
Yeah, so how do you generate an X-ray field big enough to apparently vaporize their surfaces and deflect them? It's published in Nature Physics, which if you go and watch the latest video from Sabina Fedler? What's her name? Sabina...
Anyway. Oh, Hoffenstetter, I think.
Hoffenstetter. Yeah, I think it's Hoffenstetter. I think you're right. Anyway, talks about all kinds of like the fact that there's a bunch of garbage being posted in journals, and there's a journal for everything, and there's a lawsuit pending now in California because professors do peer review, and there's a claim that all of it is for free except that the journals charge thousands of dollars for access. Academic institutions have to pay it. Anyway, so in the study published in Nature Physics, researchers created and suspended mock asteroids in a lab before using an X-ray field to vaporize their surfaces and deflect them. So, in a lab, using X-rays to push around a simulated asteroid. Mirjam Guzgan put this article together. It's over at vice.com. Faithfully replicating the kilometer-wide asteroids that might endanger Earth should they crash land upon. It was always going to be a big ask, so researchers created 2 miniature 12mm wide asteroids for their experiment, both made from forms of the same material, silica, which is commonly found on asteroids. One was made of quartz, the hard crystalline version of silica, and another one is fused with silica, where the molecules were arranged more haphazardly. They hung these pint-sized asteroids in a vacuum using ultra-thin foils of aluminum. We needed the asteroid to be floating in space. It couldn't just be attached to anything. Explained the study's lead author, Nathan Moore, researcher at Sandia National Laboratories. How to do this within a billionth of a second is the challenge. It's not like you can just drop the asteroids using tweezers. All right, smartass.
Well, and if they're doing this at a much smaller scale, are they going to truly understand and appreciate the impact that this could actually have?
Did you intend to do that?
No.
So the photons, small particles of energy, is that pulse where, in that pulse were enough to heat and then vaporize the surface of these faux asteroids. The plume of vaporization created then transferred momentum to the targets and shoved them off course at a speed of around 70 meters per second, or 1.5 times faster than the fastest baseball pitch. Researchers also plugged their measurements into a computer to simulate how the technique could work in real life. They calculated that the blast could be scaled up to deflect objects as big as 4 kilometers in diameter, way more than the 1 kilometer asteroids that are most likely to impact Earth. So, pretty fascinating. If it works, somehow I think the decimal point's going to be in the wrong spot. Either we're going to destroy it and it's just going to shatter and just rain down debris on us forever, or it's just not going to be enough. It's my kind of luck. I mean, I haven't won the lottery yet. So yeah, X-ray blast might also be preferable to the other major contender for planetary defenses, kinetic impact, which is what we've done. We fired a dart at it and blew an asteroid off course.
Right, and we still don't really know what is
term.
going to come of that.
Yep. We might actually have to use this X-ray gun to stop something that we created. And in that blinding flash of light, we return to the front page of ohmtown.com, thankful that it was nothing more than a nightmare. Thanks for hanging out. I am Merwat, and the sentient AI from the future is going to say, ciao.
Good night, Ohmtown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode.
Bye-bye. Don't look up. Oh my God, it's an asteroid.